What is up, everybody? We are back. We have a new event this week. It's called the Cadillac Championship. This course, it's at Trump National Doral. It's called the Blue Monster. This used to be a part of the PGA Tour rotation. It was a WGC event. Then they did away with the WGC events. So we haven't seen this course since 2016 when Adam Scott won here. Since then, the course has been lengthened. It is now a par 72 that measures almost 7,800 yards. So this is one of the longest courses on the PGA Tour. The only course that is longer that they play regularly is Torrey Pines. So that just kind of shows how long this course is going to be. It's in Miami, Florida, so there's going to be water hazards on a lot of the holes. I believe water is in play on 10 of the 18 holes. The greens here are pretty big on average, 7,200 square feet, but they're still going to be difficult to hit. This is going to be a difficult golf course. The only positive in terms of the scoring is that it doesn't look like it's going to be very windy this week. So I do think it's still going to play pretty tough. There's going to be a lot of big numbers. There's going to be a lot of big rounds. So that is something to keep in mind when you are building lineups. You definitely want to avoid the guys that are, spray the ball off the tee, guys that make a lot of bogeys, guys that make a lot of mistakes. Obviously, you don't want that any week, but especially this week where it's going to be a little bit more penal if you do miss your spots. As far as the course fit, like driving distance has played a big factor here in the past, but again, you can't spray the ball. So I'm kind of looking at a mix of strokes gained off the tee and driving distance. Guys that are a little bit shorter off the tee that can still gain strokes, like Siwoo Kim, maybe Russell Henley, guys like that. I'm still fine playing, even though they're not the longest hitters off the tee. They're very good long irons that make up for it, and they're going to hit a lot of fairways, and that's going to be important this week. It's going to help avoid some of those water hazards. And then I'm looking at approach play, especially long iron play. I'm looking at it around the green play, a little bit of putting. In terms of the comps, I'm looking at strokes gained on long and difficult courses. We'll get to that. I'm looking at strokes gained on high water danger courses and Florida courses. We'll get to that. And then, as always, just the normal strokes gained over the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And yeah, before we do that, big congrats to the Fitzpatricks. That was a lot of fun watching them win. These are classic. Ended up having an outright bet on them, so I was sweating that there at the end. And Matt hit one of the best bunker shots that you will ever see. Spun it to about a foot. His brother just tapped it in and earned himself a PGA Tour card. Pretty cool. Alex is actually in the field this week, so it'll be interesting to see how well he plays, whether they were, celebrating all week or whether he went back to the range and started grinding. But pretty cool story, one of the better stories in golf so far this year. But let's get into this week's event. So I have strokes gained off the tee weighted at 7%. I have driving distance weighted at 9%. So again, this is going to mostly, side with driving distance, but it's also going to factor in some of the just raw strokes gained off the tee numbers. Strokes gained approach, I have it at 15% with most of it weighted towards this year specifically. Strokes gained around the green at 6%. Strokes gained putting, I only put it at 4% because when we have these long and difficult courses, I'm willing to take my chances with bad putters rather than guys that strictly gain most of their strokes putting. Doesn't mean you don't have to putt well to win this week, but I do think strong tee to green types are preferred over the strong short game types this week. Birdie or better at 3%, bogey avoidance at 3%. I don't mind going all in on bogey avoidance and just doing, all 6 of these percent to bogey avoidance if you want to do that. Strokes gained on long and difficult courses over the last 3 years. Scheffler number 1, Tommy 2, Denny 3, which is kind of interesting. Hovland 4, and then Harris English 5. Love Harris English this week. A guy that he's played 10 events this year and he's got 9 top 30 finishes. Again, he just plays well on majors, long and difficult courses. Like that's kind of his specialty. Guys that have played well on high water danger courses. So these are courses with a lot of water hazards. Again, water is going to be a play on 10 of the 18 holes this week. You have Scheffler, Yellow Mirage. This is a sample of only 8 rounds. So take that one with a grain of salt. Henley, who's won the API before, which is another driver-heavy course in Florida. Shane Lowry, Corey Connors, and Colin Morikawa kind of leading the way there. I'm not putting any weight on cut percentage this week because we don't have a cut. There's only 72 golfers in the field. And then we got top 25, top 10, and top 5. I haven't weighted at 6% each. I was, talking with AI, Claude, and they were saying, you don't want to put too much weight on the high-end finishes because they are pretty random. You'd rather put more weight on the raw strokes gained per round data. So that's what I've done. 10% to strokes gained in 2026, 8% over the last 18 months, 6% over the last 16 months, and then 8% to the field strength metric. which just helps kind of neutralize golfers that have been playing in really weak fields. So let's get into the player pool. At the very top, we have Scotty Scheffler. And if you want my outright card, just wait till the end of the show. I'll give that out for free like I do every week. Finally got the winner last week, like I mentioned, with Fitzpatrick. So I'm hoping we can get on a little bit of a run here before the PGA Championship in a couple weeks. So at the very top, we have Scheffler. Overall rating of 92.7. The next best is 79.5. Really good cash game rating, really good GPP rating as well. The problem is that if you roster Scheffler, you're left with like $7,200 per golfer. You can get a decent lineup, not a good lineup, a decent lineup. The way I do it, I like to build 1 or 2 main tournament lineups each week, and then I like to build 20 to 150 in large field contests. And what I do, I use Lineup HQ for my MME, and I hand build my 2 main tournament lineups, my 1 main tournament lineup. So for this week, I can't hand build a lineup to feature Scheffler. It just doesn't look good. I don't like the way, the bottom of the lineup looks. So I'm not going to use Scheffler in my main lineup, but I'm going to use him about 40% in my MME builds, because all you got to do is put in a number out how much you want. It'll build the lineups for you. You don't have to see who he's paired with, and then you can go from there. You don't have to see how ugly those lineups look. But I do think coming off a back-to-back runner-up finishes, the approach play has been good the last couple events. So I think he's going to rattle off a couple wins here soon. Could very well be this week in Florida. Like Cam Young, he's very good on long and difficult courses, very good at major type of tracks. And he's been playing great all year. So like him quite a bit. Morikawa is kind of a tough one for me. The model does like him quite a bit. The iron play has been elite, but again, he's got that back injury, and this is a no-cut event. So a WD here is just going to automatically kill a lineup. I do want to read the transcripts throughout the week to see if he says anything about his back. If he says he's feeling a lot better, then I will have a lot more interest in Morikawa. Love Fleetwood in all formats, just always plays well on difficult courses. It's really as simple as that. I think everyone's going to overlook Russell Henley due to the bomber narrative. Nobody's going to want to play the guy that's hitting 280 off the tee. I heard he's using a driver that's like 6 years old, something like that too. So he's not getting out there very far, but he hits fairways and he's a good long iron player, and he won the API. So he also finished 3rd at the Masters, 2 very long courses. Maybe he's kind of turned into a long course specialist. We shall see. Siwoo is one of my favorite plays on the board, as is Hideki Matsuyama. Siwoo has just been a top 10 machine all year. Good iron player, very good total driver of the ball. And then Hideki, I've been kind of hesitant to play him in DFS because his driver's been so bad, but he's gained off the tee in 3 of his last 5 events. So I think now is the time to play Hideki. Nap's a bomber. He's going to get some ownership this week. No issue with him whatsoever. Akshay, 8100, one of my favorite plays on the board. He's been awesome pretty much all year. He picked up a win not too long ago. He's top 5 in the field in strokes gained putting and strokes gained on approach. Like, that's a lethal combination. So Botsy is a guy that I love at 8100. Adam Scott won here the last time they played here. He's also, check this out, in 2026, 4th in driving distance. So he's picked up some speed late in his career, and he's 3rd in strokes gained approach. So like, those are the 2 things that we want this week is, bombers and good iron players, and Scott's both of them. And he won here the last time the tour was here. So love Adam Scott. I think McNeely is very safe. Højgaard's a guy that I always play. 7,800 is a good price point for him. I'll be overweight there. I think Min Woo Lee is a great tournament play and an easy cash game fade. Very volatile, very hit or miss, but I do think it's a pretty good course fit for him. Moving down, Goddard. I always seem to be underweight on Goddard. The model just doesn't love him. The strokes gained per round is fine. The driving distance is good, but the iron play is pretty mediocre. The putter's not great. I don't know. For whatever reason, he always feels overpriced to me. It's not that I don't like him, not that I don't think he has, plenty of upside, but 9,300 does feel a little bit expensive for me. As we get into the 7s, there's a lot of guys that I like. I like Spawn. I like Straka. I like Kitayama. Lowry's one of my favorite under-the-radar plays. He's a guy that always plays well in Florida. He's nearly won the Honda a couple times. And the bad form is going to keep everyone away. I think Ricky Fowler's also interesting at 8K flat. He's a guy that lives in Florida. 2 top 10s in his last 5 starts on tour. Again, Harris English, which we talked about, going to be overweight on him. Moving down, I think Jordan Smith's going to be very popular, so I'm hesitant to load up on him. I think I'll probably just pivot to Corey Connors. Yellow Miraggio, I'm always going to be overweight on him. Pearson Cootie's a bomber, so I think he's interesting. Hisatsune is interesting as well. Woodland's been playing great. He's very bad around the green, but I do think he has some upside. Again, Fitzpatrick, don't know what to expect from him, but he is positive in all 4 of the strokes gained metrics on the DP World Tour so far this year. I like Tigala. He's been playing much better this year. I like Sam Stevens anytime you get him on a driver-heavy course. I like Ryan Fox, who had been playing great until he had kidney stones and then, missed a couple cuts, but then he bounced back with the T16 his last time out. So I will be overweight on him. And I just don't love most of the 6s. So that's kind of why it's hard to play Scheffler if you are hand building, because you're going to get a lot of guys that you don't feel very good about. But in MME, I'm going to be overweight on Scheffler. Single entry, I will just take my chances with the fade of Scheffler. As far as my bets for the week, let me pull them up. So I have Tommy Fleetwood at plus 2,800. Again, plays really difficult golf course as well. Siwoo Kim at plus 3,300. He's been inching towards a win all year. All he needs to do is have a good putting week, and I think he's going to get there. We have Hideki Matsuyama at 3,300. Again, the driver's been a little bit better. Everything else has been pretty solid. Adam Scott at plus 3,900. Love that price. Won here the last time they played here. And then Akshay at plus 5,500. A guy that, again, top 5 in the field on approach and putting. I think that is a very good combo. So that'll do it for the week. If you don't mind, hit that thumbs up button. We will catch you back here next week. And then it's major season. So let's get it. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you next week.